Kingdom people, they are blaming you for their problems. They are blaming you for the issues they have going on. And part of the reason why they're doing this, not that it's your fault, is because in some instances, Kingdom people, you told them some things. You gave them some wisdom, so to speak. You made them aware of certain things that was going on, that could happen, that would happen even, and they didn't listen. And so because they didn't listen, and now they're dealing with the consequences of not taking heed, they're blaming you. And also, Kingdom people, there are other situations where you had to remove yourself from a situation. You may have been there for a person or some people, and there were some things going on, and even the person knew what was going on. Maybe you've talked about it, you've discussed it, and you broke free from the situation. You got away from it. You got out of it. And maybe you were even there for this person or these people as a sounding board. They may have confided in you, and you may have helped them in some way, counseled them in some way, just gave them something to go on. You were there for them. And it comes a point to where you have to let people walk on their own 2 feet. And really what you're doing is letting them walk with God and trust God. Furthermore, there can be instances where the people end up turning on you. They get to tripping on you and acting crazy towards you. So they put you in a position where you have no choice but to leave. Remove yourself from the whole total situation. Because, Kingdom people, you got things to do. You be hitting the ground, running out here. God got you on a mission, on purpose. And while you do be there and do be there for people, trying to be there for them for where they're at, that's just part of what we do. Sometimes, that comes to an end. And some people just want you to be there and be there and be there. But the issue comes in where sometimes where they are, you so far away from where they are that it's a big old gap. And so you kind of have to leave them behind so that you can move forward and do what you need to do. And sometimes people are not really doing the work, doing what they need to do. The things that, as I already said, that you both may have been aware of, maybe you discussed, maybe you mentioned certain things to them, they were able to see it for what it is and was. They were not willing to do what was necessary to detach themselves from the situation. And so because you were able to do that, and you removed yourself, and not just from whatever situation was going on, from them too, because they became a situation going on for you too. Because as I said, many a times people will turn on you, and the reason why they tend to do that in these cases is because they start to envy you and become jealous of you, because you have this wisdom, you have this knowledge. I find, not always, but in these cases, people start tripping on you for being in a position, in a place to help them, to tell them something, to have that knowledge and understanding, to have that discernment. Sometimes people trip on you because of the relationship you have with God. And so while God may have you there to help them and assist them, they'll turn on you for you being the one, because they really want to be what they see in you. And you're literally there to help them, but they get to tripping on you, so you have to remove yourself. And so what happens, Kingdom people, is when you remove yourself, they begin to experience certain things. They were already experiencing things, but it doesn't go away, or it heightens. Furthermore, those people, in those instances where you both were aware of some demonic stuff going on, some things that just weren't right and wasn't of God, I'll just put it like that, you again removed yourself. They're still there for whatever reason. See, these people have a lot of things they need to work through. They have a lot of things they need to face. They need to get the strength to do it. And the truth is that strength comes from God. These are the kind of people that don't want to face the facts. They don't want to be accountable for themselves. Not where they need to be. Not where they're blaming you for what they're going through. The thing is, no one is accountable. I'm not going to say no one is accountable for others, because that's not true. To some extent you are. It's kind of like when you have children, especially minor children, to some extent you are accountable for them, while you also are teaching them accountability, to take accountability for themselves. But the thing is, kingdom people, they don't want to be accountable for themselves. They see that you got free. I just heard you got off scot-free, but you got free from the situation. And because you got free, they feel away. They feel like you left them in a situation that you were trying to help them out of. I mean, you did what you're supposed to do. You helped them. And this is what God said to me about this. When they saw you get free and walk away, they should have been doing the same thing. But they didn't do it for whatever reason. Again, people got all kind of stuff going on, but this is one thing that God made very clear to me. This is something that I know, but this is something that he spoke to me concerning this message. When you put your trust in God, if you in a situation, you know it ain't right, you know it's bad, you know this is not what God has for you, first of all, you got to put your trust in God, that God will get you out of it, see you through it, walk you through it. And you have to be right in your heart. See, sometimes kingdom people just not right in their heart. Remember, I said these people have turned on you. They're not right in their hearts towards you, and then they're angry with you for removing yourself from them. Now, how that work? And then they blaming you because you removed yourself from the situation. You were their help, but you removed yourself because they was becoming a problem for you, trying to anyway, and you wasn't having it. And so now they're dealing with whatever they're dealing with alone, or with whoever else, not you. And they feel like it's because of you they going through what they're going through. So they're blaming you for what they're going through. And here's my thing. I am of the mindset that even if somebody did actually do something to me that was foul, out of order, that was devilish, they were really trying to harm me, even if they did, and it caused me some kind of issue or problem, I'm going to take accountability for myself. I'm going to learn what I need to learn, see what I need to see, and keep it moving. What I'm not going to do is blame them for the rest of my life or for what happens next, because I'm going to take accountability and do what I need to do to move forward. Yeah, they did what they did, and that's on them, because trust and believe God will deal with them. But I'm not going to be sitting in some mess saying it was their fault because they did this. Even if they did do that, and even if it is their fault, I'm going to keep it pushing. And kingdom people, that's how you all are. You keep it moving. Yeah, they did that, and you ain't got time to be playing the blame game. You have the time and the day to take accountability, to take responsibility for yourself and your own life, and do what you need to do. Yeah, it's people out here, they be on one. We know that. We done learned that. People just ain't right. Of course, that's not all people, but even people that are good, decent people, listen, if they got a little crack open, the devil will try to use them too. And many a times he do. Not always, but it's very common. So you just ain't up for all that. You know, even when you're surprised at something because you thought they wouldn't do this. You didn't think a person would do this. At the same time, it's like, well, you know, this is the kind of world we live in. The enemy is after me, so he gonna use whatever, whoever, however he can. And that's just that on that. You're gonna do what you need to do, and you're gonna keep moving it forward. And so, kingdom people, that's something that these people are not doing. And they're not willing to do. But they see you are, and you are doing it. You are willing, and you are doing it. And so they feel away because they're not, and maybe they're in a certain place in life where they have to be where they are and deal with certain things. But even in that, they can still be doing the work. Many of us were doing the work. God was working on us and showing us before he actually got us up out of there. If they would just do the same thing, they don't understand that God will very well may just do the same thing with them. But I can tell you this, it can't happen if you're blaming somebody else that got out, got free. It was your time to get out, your time to get free. Obviously, it's not quite their time because they still, I'm just reminded of the children of Israel. God brought them out and they still was whining and complaining. They wanted to go back in slavery and get some food. At least they ate every day. They ate every day because they were slaves and they needed to eat to have some sustenance to do the work that they were slaving to do for their master, Pharaoh. You see what I'm saying, kingdom people? They weren't eating because, I ain't gonna say God wasn't looking out for them, but Pharaoh didn't care nothing about them like that. He only fed them because they had work to do. If you not eating, how you gonna be able to do that work, do that hard labor? You can't. Anyway, kingdom people, I'm saying that to say the children of Israel, it's almost like they weren't ready to be free. They did all that crying and whining, and God brought them out, and they were still crying and whining. So these people, kingdom people, listen. You're crying and whining, but they ain't ready. They instead blaming you. That's how you know they not ready. They not ready to be free. Because if they was ready to be free, they'll do what was necessary to get free. If anything, they will follow your lead. Not trying to say you trying to be their lead. But I'm saying, you did what they want to do. But they just won't do it. And they blaming you because you did it. And they where they are, soaking, instead of trusting and letting God do a work in them. I don't care what the situation is. It doesn't matter. God is still God all day, every day. That don't change. It won't change. It'll never change. If they just put their trust in God and let God work a thing out of them, clean them hearts up, get their mind right, man, listen, they wouldn't be blaming you. They'll be blaming God for blessing them, for setting them free. They'll be thanking them is what they'll be doing. Kingdom people, they are blaming you for their problems.